Hello viewers! You will notice that the video dimensions are slightly different because I'm using my boyfriend's camera that I still have because I borrowed it when I went to England and I'm not done editing all those videos. So I'm using this camera right now because my regular flip cam is currently in the computer uploading my second video in my LGBTQ blah 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 Pagans question series. And this video is kind of tangentially related to that. So while that one is busy uploading, I thought I would take this one out and go for a walk and answer a question that Rebecca asked in the comments of the first video. Meanwhile, pause for dragonflies. Hello? Hi. Now the camera is telling me we have a low battery, so I really hope that this keeps up. Her question was basically just, for me, being a bisexual pagan, which one of those two identities came first, if either, and were they at all related for me? So I'll try to keep this short because of the battery, which you all know is a challenge for me, but the Wiccan identity did come first for me. I was about 10 or 11 when I really started looking for the name of the thing that I believed, because by then I realized that Catholicism, how I had been raised, meant something to me, obviously, because I had been raised in it and that's my family's religion, but I clearly believed things that were contrary to it. So when I was about 10 or 11 is when I was like, what's going on here? And by the time I was 12, I was actively studying Wicca, and I'm a very cautious kid, always have been, so I took a very long time before I ever really identified as Wiccan, but I was studying it by the time I was 12, a little over a year, and then the Sabbath that I consider the beginning of when I identified as Wiccan was when I was 13. So it was around 12 or 13 for me. And I was okay identifying as that for some reason because I knew for such a long time that I believed differently than other people, so it was very easy for me to kind of claim that identity once I felt that I had studied enough to earn it. And I'm not a traditional Wiccan by any means. I'm a solitary eclectic, which you guys know that. But that identity did come much sooner for me, and I don't think it had anything to do directly with me identifying as bisexual later on. It's funny because the only other Wiccan in my family actually is a lesbian, and I think that the Wiccan identity came first for her as well, or at least that's the first one that I knew about, and I found out later that she was a lesbian. We already knew that she was both of these things before I came out as a Wiccan, and so when I told my mom that, she was like, oh great, next you're gonna tell me you're a lesbian too? And then here, come to find out years later, I come out to my mother as a bisexual, and yeah, so it was funny, let's just say that. But I didn't start accepting my bisexual identity until senior year of high school, and I think that's just because sexuality didn't mean much to me before that, whereas my religious beliefs were something that was always around. I just didn't really care much about sexuality before that. I wasn't really into dating at all. Like, the guys at my school just were not interesting to me, so people always thought I was a lesbian anyway, just because I wasn't attracted to those boys. But that's just because they were silly and ridiculous, and like, why do I need to spend my time with them? So it wasn't until later on in high school that sexuality really became a thing, and then that's when I started thinking about it. And I also had a really close girlfriend at that point who I think helped me come up with that identity, because we were just very comfortable like holding hands and calling each other pet names, and that was just our friendship. And through that I realized that there might be something more in that attraction to females for me, but I definitely was also attracted to males by that point. So that's where the bisexual thing came from. So it was after the Wiccan identity, but I don't think they had anything to do with each other. Like, it wasn't because I had already accepted the Wiccan identity and Wicca or paganism, whichever, is accepting of alternate sexualities, that I then said, well, now I'm part of this community that is accepting if I am bisexual, so I'm going to go ahead and say that. It's just really that I didn't pay attention to my sexuality until later. So I don't think they had anything to do with each other as far as I am this one thing so I can now be the other. It wasn't like that for me. I would call that a coincidence, that I coincidentally ended up being a bisexual Wiccan. But I think it could have happened any other way. I could have come up with my sexuality first. It just wasn't what was of concern to me at the time, you know? So that was a really good question, first of all, and it just happened to come from my best customer, so you guys need to step up your game. I'm just kidding. I love you all. But yeah, I don't know, I think it just really depends, and someone recently messaged me on YouTube saying that they're, you know, younger than I was when I came out as bisexual, and they were wondering if it's weird that they already know that they're bisexual, when they're a lot younger, and I don't think that's weird. I think it's just, you just figured it out before I did, and that's cool. Like, lucky you. I just didn't deal with it until later. But as far as the whole gay pagans thing goes that I'm, like, addressing all these questions about, no, I don't think I'm bisexual because I'm a Wiccan, or that I'm Wiccan because I'm bisexual. I think they're just separate things about me that happen to work together. Like, I think I'm lucky that my religious path does not think my sexuality is wrong. You know, that's great that they work together. It is a challenge, I'm sure, for people who happen to be gay and a follower of a religion that tells them that's wrong. I think that must be really difficult, and that sucks, to be frank. So I think I am lucky. I don't think that either of those things led directly to the other. The camera died. I had to switch the batteries. I just switched them back and forth, so hopefully I get another second. So yeah, that's it. That's the end. Goodbye. Thanks for watching. Great question. I just wanted to get this in there since it is kind of related to that series. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye. I found this apple when the camera died, when I'm gonna go give it to my friend Willow now. So yeah. So thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.